Starting around 300 BC, a network of roads emerged in China. Though they were first used for trading silk throughout China, they eventually spread across Europe to the Mediterranean and were used for trading all sorts of commodities. Historians call this trade route the Silk Road. In the 14th century, a disease called the Black Death traveled with the Mongols across the Silk Road into Europe. Once there, it affected two-thirds of the population. Its effects were devastating. Nearly every aspect of culture was affected by the Black Plague. Religion, hierarchy, and arts all experienced major changes. The Black Plague raged across the Eurasian world, destroying cities and wiping out an estimated 38 million people in the 3 years that it was active.
How's my husband, doctor? This all started after he came back from a trading route on the Silk Road.
Well, it's too early to tell, but it looks like a case of the Black Plague.
What's that?
It's a new disease. We don't know much about it. He's dead.
The drop in population led to the questioning of religion. The plague had baffled many, and people continuously blamed different religious groups for its occurrence. People were unaware of where or why this disease emerged, but the Jews were often accused of causing the plague by poisoning town wells. Because of these accusations, the Jews suffered deadly consequences. In 1351, 2,000 Jews were killed. 60 main and 150 smaller Jewish regions were wiped out. This deadly disease caused more people to question the religion they were following and turn to others. In Europe, many turned to Christianity, and in China and other Western countries, Buddhism also became a popular alternative. Jews weren't the only ones who were blamed. Many felt that the plague had been sent from God for being wicked. The more sinful you were, the higher risk you were for catching the plague and dying. As a result of this, sinful people were persecuted because they believed to have the disease. Their persecutions prevented the spread of the plague farther.
Everyone I love is dying. Obviously my God is not working out. I'll convert to Judaism.
She's a Jew.
Her people spread the Black Plague throughout the Silk Road.
She's sinful and so more likely to get sick. She'll spread it for even further. Kill her.
The decrease in population led to a dramatic change in social hierarchies. Because of the diminishing population, labor was hard to come by. This gave workers the opportunity to demand higher wages. This changed the social hierarchy because it switched the power and gave workers more control over their income. Peasants began to pay their rent in money rather than goods, freeing them from tenant farming. This changed the hierarchy because tenant farming was a major source of income for landowners. With more and more workers buying out of their agreements, landowners gradually lost money, changing their place in the society. Because of the decrease in population, there were fewer taxpayers, and therefore less money in the government, causing a lapse in the economy. This caused people to spend less money, resulting in landowners having less money to grow crops with. This changed the social hierarchy by making the divide between landowners and those who farm their land smaller. Sydney,
This money is not enough.
everyone is dying from the Black Plague. You have no more workers.
John just came back from trading on the Silk Road and now he's sick and dying.
We're your only workers who don't trade. You need us. Pay us more or we will leave.
No, I am your superior. You do not demand money from me.
Well, then we'll quit. We will find another landowner who will be willing to pay more.
Wait, come back. You're my only living workers. I can't operate without you.
A significant diminution in population from the Black Plague changed art, music, and literature. While the Black Plague was raging in cultures touched by the Silk Road, literature took the backseat. In many societies, written language nearly died out completely. This changed literature because in the time spent with little to no written languages, some aspects of the various languages were lost. The music of the time period also experienced change. Before the plague, the tone of music was happy and it was played often. During the plague, music was grim and hardly ever played, except for when someone died. Because of this, people started to associate music with death. The topic of the depictions in art changed. Before the plague struck, there were a variety of subjects in art, but during the plague, the only thing that was being portrayed was death and the spread of disease. This changed art because those who lived through the plague left us with depictions of people with rotting flesh and torn clothing, giving us an insight into what life was like during the Black Plague.
Before the Black Plague, music was played often and was used in celebrations, festivals, and other joyful events. Art and literature from people of that time depicted a happy life rich with entertainment. Things have drastically changed now that the plague has struck. People no longer played music for joy or created art. Music was associated with death because the only time it was played was after someone died. Novels and other books are scarcely written, and the advancements in written languages are at a fast-paced decline. Once the plague was over, we still saw its lasting effects in art, music, and literature. While the plague was infecting millions, entertainment took a backseat to the larger problems of the plague. After it was over, entertainment slowly started to take a larger role in people's daily lives once again.
The decrease in population had many effects on a multitude of cultures. The amounts of mass death either strengthened people's faith in their religion or caused them to abandon theirs and become part of a new religion. The social hierarchies of Europe will never be the same. The Black Plague had overtaken feudalism. The poor that hadn't been infected benefited from the plague. They gained control of how much they were paid because they were less people to do their jobs. Lastly, with so much death surrounding people, art and music were affected as well. Life was suddenly gloomy and dark rather than when it was a peaceful place with beautiful art pieces. All of these things were a result of the fall in population in every culture affected by the Silk Road.
I'm not like doing it.
I'm getting ready to kill you.
Yeah, I just read it farther. Okay. Back up. back. You do it. Oh wait. We're gonna get it in time. Hello. Hi, Mom. Look back. Obviously, my God is not working out. I'm gonna convert to Judaism. we can do this.
Yo, take that.
Yeah, no one. Oh, that's really the real friend. Except that was English.
I'm not gonna have my cake because my husband.
I need to cut.
What's up, Miss Jackson?